You are in a meeting. Everyone is talking seriously, presentations are being made, and important decisions are being taken. But you? You suddenly start thinking, why do the legs of this chair number 4? Wouldn't 3 legs be more stable? While everyone is listening to you, you are trying to solve a completely irrelevant geometric problem in your head. The meeting ends. You come home. It is 10 p.m. You say, let me rest a bit. But you find yourself reading random articles on Wikipedia for hours, suddenly jumping from the extinction of dinosaurs to the fall of the Byzantine Empire, from there to the foundations of quantum physics, and then to the question, I wonder if dogs see themselves as humans while dreaming. At 3 in the morning you are still awake. Your eyes are burning, but your brain says, wait a minute, this topic is interesting too, and you cannot stop. Those around you look at you strangely. Your friends say, you're a bit weird, and your family asks, why can't you be normal? Perhaps you too look in the mirror and dive into questioning, why am I like this? Why can't I be like everyone else? Right here, I will tell you something very clear. These absurd behaviors, these weird habits, might actually be secret signs of high intelligence. Yes, you did not hear wrong. Sometimes, the smartest people are the ones who behave the strangest when viewed from the outside. Because their brains work differently. Faster, deeper, more complex. So why do intelligent people behave absurdly? The answer to this question actually lies at the point where neuroscience and psychology intersect. If you are here for the first time, I am Daryl. Here I read reliable foreign sources and explain what I learned to you in simple language. Research conducted by experts such as psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the creator of flow theory, and neuroscientist Rex Young, shows that high IQ is not just about the ability to solve problems quickly. Intelligent brains are constantly active, constantly curious, and usually think outside of normal patterns. A comprehensive study published in the Journal of Individual Differences reveals this as well. More than 60% of individuals with high IQ exhibit the behaviors that do not comply with social norms. But this is not a deficiency or inadequacy on their part. On the contrary, it is the natural result of a mental structure that functions differently. The more active your brain's prefrontal cortex, that is your center for thinking, planning, and decision-making is, the more your likelihood of exhibiting non-standard behaviors increases. Because you are constantly asking questions, constantly generating alternative scenarios, constantly thinking, what if it were like this? This is exhausting for an ordinary brain, but a playground for your brain. Now come, let's look one by one at which absurd behaviors actually point to high intelligence. 1. Talking to yourself. If you think out loud while shopping at the market, saying, is this brand more logical or is that one cheaper? Congratulations. It means your brain is working at high speed. People might look at you strangely. They might say, this person is talking to themselves. But the truth is this. Research published in the Psychonomic Bulletin and Review shows that talking to oneself increases cognitive performance, strengthens memory, and speeds up decision-making processes. Your brain gets better organized by verbalizing its thoughts. So you are not crazy. You are establishing a high-level dialogue with your brain. Einstein talked to himself too. Tesla as well. You have the right to. 2. Constantly asking questions, and sometimes very absurd questions. If you ask the question, why is the sky blue? At age 7, perhaps you are ordinary, but if as an adult you ask questions like, why does time move in one direction? Why can't we go back? Or I wonder what consciousness is. Does the brain produce consciousness, or does consciousness use the brain? Congratulations, you possess philosophical and scientific depth. Researchers like Adam Grant and Carol Dweck emphasize that constantly asking questions is one of the most important indicators of high IQ and creativity. Curious brains learn faster and make more connections and analyze more deeply. If you wake up every day with a new why question, it means your brain is constantly improving itself. 3. Making complex, absurd jokes. If no one understands your jokes and they look at you wondering, was that funny or was it serious? The problem is not with you, it is with them. High intelligence grasps absurd humor, irony, and layered comedy much better. Research conducted by Gil Greengrass and evolutionary psychologist Jeffrey Miller shows that professional comedy writers and stand-up artists possess IQs well above average. If you understand complex, multi-layered jokes of the you need to think twice to understand this kind, it means your brain is making connections much faster, catching references, and thinking abstractly. 4. Being messy. Are there pens, notebook pages, half-finished projects, random books, post-it notes on your desk? Yes, your mother might get annoyed, your boss might frown, but research conducted by Kathleen Vose from the University of Minnesota says very clearly, messy desks trigger creativity. Steve Jobs' desk was messy. Albert Einstein's laboratory was chaotic. Mark Twain's writing desk was like a disaster. Why? Because a messy environment ensures that the brain constantly interacts with different stimuli. You're constantly making new connections with that pen, that paper, that book. Order sometimes kills creativity. You bloom in disorder. 5. Staying awake late at night. You cannot get up at 6 in the morning, the alarm rings and you say 5 more minutes. But at 2 at night, you're living your most efficient, most creative, most productive state. Large-scale research conducted by Satoshi Kanazawa from the London School of Economics confirms this. Individuals with high IQ tend to be night owls, because at night, distractions decrease. The phone doesn't ring, no one disturbs you, the streets are silent, and your brain finds the ideal environment for deep thought. Throughout history, the greatest thinkers, writers, and artists worked at night. Franz Kafka, Charles Darwin, Winston Churchill, they were all night people. 6. Overthinking. I wonder if he misunderstood what I said. What will I do in the future? What will be the impact of this decision 10 years later? What if I had done it like this? Would the result have changed? If your mind is constantly generating scenarios, constantly weighing alternatives, this is not just anxiety, but also high cognitive awareness. Research conducted by Jason Moser from the University of Michigan and Alexander Penny from Lakehead University shows that overthinking is directly linked to high IQ. Yes, sometimes it is exhausting, sometimes stressful, but this means that your brain thinks much more comprehensively, much more in detail. You're analyzing not just superficially, but deeply. 7. Hating monotonous tasks. Routine jobs kill you. Repeating the same thing every day is enough to drive you crazy. The cycle of wake up in the morning, go to work, return home, sleep, repeat feels like torture to you. Cambridge University research shows that individuals with high IQ get bored much more with routine, repetitive jobs because their brains are constantly seeking new stimuli, new challenges. You do not want to become robotic. You want to develop, learn, and discover. So what will you do now? If you notice these behaviors in yourself, do not judge yourself. On the contrary, turn this into an advantage. Feed your curiosity. Falling down the Wikipedia rabbit hole is not a bad thing. On the contrary, your learning process accelerates. Your brain is being fed with knowledge. Continue talking to yourself. Let those around you look strangely. Do not care. You are establishing high-quality communication with your brain. Embrace your messiness. Not everything has to be perfect. Creativity needs chaos. You find your way in that chaos. Except working at night. Society says the early bird catches the worm, but your brain works at night, and then work at night. Make overthinking a tool. Yes, it is exhausting, but this ability pushes you to make better decisions and think deeper. Embrace this. As a result, your absurd behaviors are actually proof that your brain works differently. Society might tell you to be normal, but the truth is this. Normal is usually another name for ordinariness. You're not condemned to ordinariness. You are different, and this is power. If you have watched the video up to here, I really thank you. If you would like to support for free, subscribing to the channel is the biggest source of motivation for me to produce high-quality content like this. I am glad to have you, and I love you very much.